And I'm going to take you through our designed and built for online marketers to get a leg up on the competition and do better with your campaigns, with the knowledge that you are building the best marketing strategies and you're putting in place the best tactics, based off of real user data. So let's get started. A little bit about SimilarWeb. We were founded in 2009, and we've been supplying the data to the competitive intelligence industry for a long, long time. So a lot of the big companies that you know about today, before you heard about SimilarWeb, used our data, and that was how we kind of existed as a company for a long time. Then in 2013, we decided to launch our own platform and really change the direction of the company from being a data collector to being a data provider, which means that we both collect and distribute the data, both free online at SimilarWeb.com and through our amazing SaaS platform, SimilarWeb Pro, which I encourage all of you to go and try a demo after this. We were recently voted as one of the top 100 companies in Europe through Red Herring. And we've raised over $40 million in investment to date. So what do we do today? We measure the digital world. Every website and every mobile application are being tracked through us. Right now, the mobile applications are Android only, but we do track every single one of them. I think it's close to 4 million apps now that we're tracking. And with that data, we can show you lots of interesting things about the world around you and give you the tools that you need to do better online marketing. So how do we collect our data? Because this is the most important part. And I want to build a sense of trust with you as an audience. Number one, we have the largest panel of devices in the world. What does this mean? It means that we have over 5,000 different pieces of software, browser extensions, and desktop software, and free mobile apps that people opt into. They're all free to download, free to use. They're all free to use, but when you get the software, we ask you if you want to join an anonymous panel of data where we collect your data for marketing information. We don't collect any personal identifying information. It's not our business. What we do want to do is understand how people use the web. So we want to know how traffic flows on the web and how people use their apps. We don't collect anything that's personally identifying. So that's our large international panel. Then we have our direct measurement, which is over 34,000 different applications and websites that directly connect their Google Analytics data to SimilarWeb. And when you collect your Google Analytics data, it does two things. Number one, you can connect anonymously and help improve our estimations. And when you do this, you not only improve estimations about your own site, but also about your competitors, because we use this and combine it with the data that we collect about your competitors to better estimate your industry and your region. So the more data that we have through our direct measurement, through our learning set, the better we are at providing a service for you. And the third way that we collect data is through our ISP partnerships and customers. We buy data from ISPs, internet service providers, which helps us estimate the size of the traffic to the different websites so that we can be even more accurate. And finally, we have our own crawler where we crawl 2.5, close to 3 billion pages a month and build our own accurate map of the digital world, which we then collect into our big data storage center and process that and provide the algorithms and the ranking and the traffic and the categorization that everybody here uses and loves. Here's some of the companies that use SimilarWeb today. We're quite strong in the finance and research industry. We're very strong in travel. Close to a dozen airlines now use SimilarWeb. In the e-commerce industry, some of the biggest players, eBay was one of our first big customers. Flipkart out of India loves us. And on the internet world, we're very strong. Google is a customer, and in mobile, Samsung and the service provider Orange are also customers. Because we have data about everything, every story, everything that happens online, we can provide this data to the media as well. And we use this as kind of validation and to expand our brand awareness, in addition to doing things like this webinar today. So if you look in the New York Times or the Washington Post or Bloomberg, you'll often see SimilarWeb data being quoted and used in stories to understand what is happening in our world today. So now I want to take you through a few case studies in presentation mode to show you the impact of data and how it can really help you understand an industry. So the first case study is the story of the $3 million post. And it's a story that really highlights, in my opinion, the power of blogging and the power of referral sites, and it will help you guys, I think, understand, through competitive intelligence, where you can do a better job of advertising and blocking competitors. So let's go into the $3 million post. All across the globe right now, there's a new trend for online glasses. This means that you can order eyeglasses direct from the manufacturers online. And there's several companies and startups that have sprung up doing it. And what we noticed at SimilarWeb, if you look here for July last summer of 2014, you'll see that there was a rise for all of the sites within the industry. And this is their overall traffic. So why did this suddenly rise? Did the industry start taking off? What happened? To look at what was going on, the marketing managers need to look and see, okay, is this just happening to my site or is it happening to everybody? And the answer was it was happening to everybody, because the blog Lifehacker wrote the first ever post which said the 5 best online glasses stores. And it was the first time ever, because this is such a new industry, that somebody had written about the industry and recommended places to go buy glasses online. Glasses typically can be very expensive, hundreds of dollars, thousands of rubles, and now you have the ability to buy them much cheaper, directly shipped from China, same high quality, by cutting out the middleman in the stores. And so Lifehacker was able to recommend, the 5 best stores. And what we see here is of their total traffic, 12% of all their traffic that month came from this Lifehacker post. And we can see here's the ranking of the stores by market share from Lifehacker to their stores. And so we can see Warby Parker, iBuyDirect, and Zenni Optical were the clear winners, and they were also the 3 that were recommended the highest within the post. If we look just at referral traffic, we can see a huge jump for some of the smaller sites as well, in that, Coastal Contacts, Coastal.com, the green one here, and the orange one here, Goggles for You, which just getting mentioned was enough to spike their referral traffic because there were smaller sites than the other 3. But overall, we see this rise for almost every site in the list. And so what did? We calculated the results. Using SimilarWeb, we went in and found the conversion rate for each of the sites. We looked at their popular pages, and we calculated the share of traffic to the success page on each site. And then we assume that the people coming from this Lifehacker post had the same conversion rate as the rest of the traffic on the different glasses websites. And we made a quick assumption about the average cost of a pair of glasses, assuming that people only buy 1 pair per purchase from the different stores. And we calculated the total revenue driven from this one recommendation post was close to $3 million, with Warby Parker being the leading site, taking in close to $1.5 million, and iBuyDirect taking in the second $1 million. But for doing no work, all of these companies were able to gain additional traffic. So what's the impact for you as online marketers? When you start to see at an industry level or at a geographic level impact items like this, you can know how to focus your marketing plan. If you're Warby Parker and you have deeper budgets, you can say, hey, I'm going to do a sponsored post on Lifehacker and continue pushing sponsored content about online glasses. because it seems like people really responded to the post and they're really looking for ways to buy cheaper glasses. If I'm Coastal Contacts or Clearly Contacts here, which have smaller market share and probably smaller marketing budgets, I'm going to use this Life Hacker post and I'm going to spend a lot of money, number one, retargeting people who visited, and number two, buying display ads on the site, which is a much cheaper way than running a sponsored content post within Life Hacker. And so this is a great place. This is almost the ideal place for these companies to start doing their media buying, because this is based off of real traffic and real referrals to their sites. And the more traffic that these smaller players can buy, the bigger their share of voice that they can compete against the bigger players in the market. And now I want to talk about another site, another case study called Ozon Travel. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with Ozon, the massive site in Russia. And this is their travel business. They sell tickets and tours and cruises and all the stuff that your typical online travel agency would do. And when we were looking at the data for Ozon Travel, we saw that last summer, when July is typically the peak for Russian travel historically in terms of web traffic online, that Ozon started to lose traffic compared to the year before. When the graph peaked in the middle of the summer, now it started to decrease. And Ozon lost a significant amount of traffic. And I'm sure for my audience here, I can see the flags of all the people who are attending, that everybody's familiar with the situation in Russia because of the Russian invasion and because of currency fluctuations and because of travel restrictions that the Russian government placed on its citizens. It became much more difficult for people to travel within Russia and even the CIS. So what did this impact have on the top Russian travel agencies was that most of them suffered significant losses of traffic during the summer of 2014. And we can see here, the big ones like Pegas and Tez Tour survived, but they lost more traffic relative to Ozon Travel. And sites like Neva Travel and Labyrinth and Solvex, went out of business. The complete stop in traffic and the complete stop in business that summer put almost half a dozen different Russian travel sites out of business. And these aren't small sites. These are sites with close to 1 million visitors a month that rely heavily, on their online business, and suddenly that business disappeared. So being able to understand the market that you're in will help you understand, how to survive. So Ozon Travel was a big winner because they were able to survive, and they were able to know, this is a good time to increase advertising. This is a good time to maybe hold back and save budgets for when the market recovers. But being able to understand the market, being able to understand where the other competitors were, allowed them to stay in business and stay afloat when others could not. And now I want to take you to our live demo and show you 3 keyword best practices that everybody in the online marketing world who has SimilarWeb Pro is doing today. So number 1, let's look at the trending keywords, and let's look at industry analysis. So I'm going to open up SimilarWeb Pro. Let me share my screen. Sorry about that. Okay. Is it going? Yes. Okay. Okay. So here's SimilarWeb Pro. This is our paid platform. Before I get into the paid platform, I want to make you aware of the fact that if you aren't using SimilarWeb today, you can look up any website that you want to. So if you wanted to look up Ozon Travel, for example, you can do this for free at SimilarWeb.com. Look up any website or application, and you can see already how their seasonal traffic is starting to increase for this summer. And hopefully they'll have a better summer this summer than they did last summer. And you can get an estimate of their traffic for desktop, their marketing strategy through their different traffic sources, where their traffic comes from, referring sites, top keywords, top social networks, and top display advertising networks, as well as audience interest and sites that are similar based off of website usage from our panel. And if they have connected apps, you'll see them here as well. And remember that all of the data that I just scrolled through very quickly is available for free. So I encourage everybody here to come and check it out if they haven't done it before. So now let's take a look at the industry analysis. And while my Russian isn't the best, I'm going to use a US example for industry analysis, and we'll take a look at the United States, and we'll look at the shopping category. And so what we can see here, under search, are the top keywords. And we can see here, for example, overall, in the shopping industry in the United States, 12.5% of traffic is paid traffic. That's a very competitive industry. And we can see the overall most searched for term in terms of traffic is Amazon, and then eBay, and then Walmart, which makes sense. Those are the three biggest online retailers in the US. But now let's look at the organic traffic. And we see the same thing, that people are searching for the top 3 stores. We see Target here is number 4. But now we can sort by percent change. And this will give us a good insight into how people are actually searching for things over the last month. And so we can see here that actually Facebook login, Papa John's coupon code, are fast rising. We can also see that the NBA playoff bracket is very high rising, which makes sense because this is when the NBA playoffs are going on right now. And so you can export this list. There's 138 pages, so that's over 10,000 keywords here, 13,000 keywords. And look for the top, different products that people are searching for. If we were to look at the paid trending keywords, we can see this is what the biggest stores are starting to invest in, and what's fast rising, what they think is going to be important this month. So cheap flowers is very interesting because last Sunday was Mother's Day. Shoes for women, Bulgari, home goods, adult coloring books is very interesting. So we see lots of interesting things here, lots of interesting trends that you can take a page out of the big player's notebook and apply it to yourself, and you can see what they're starting to bid on. If we go back to our presentation, we'll see that the next thing I want to show you is we want to reveal your not provided keywords. So one of the benefits, let me jump back to your screen. One of the benefits of SimilarWeb is because we're tracking the data, we see what happens before and after a click, which is something that Google Analytics isn't allowed to see because of secure web searches within Google. Google has to protect the web searches, but we see around that. So if we go to website analysis, and we look up a top website like Amazon in the United Kingdom, for example, we can look under the search traffic sources over the last 6 months. I'll give it a second to load here. And we can see here's the 78, 76, 77,000 keywords that we tracked for Amazon.co.uk over the last year. And we can see this, over the last 6 months. And we can see the split between paid and organic. So the dark blue is the organic traffic, and the light blue is the paid traffic that Amazon purchased on these different keywords. Now, if we wanted to look and see, okay, what are the top organic keywords, we can apply a filter here just for organic. And now it's filtering through 76,000 keywords. And we'll be able to see what are the top keywords. So before, we have this very handy box, which is exclude branded keywords. And I'll click it in a second. But one of the most amazing things about this ability is we can start to see, okay, on organic traffic, how much of the traffic comes from brand searches? Because this will give you an indicator of how strong your brand is. Here at SimilarWeb, I go into the tool every month, and I look to see what's the traffic share on our branded keywords. How many people know to search for SimilarWeb, and how many people just find us through our long-tail organic search? So Amazon has a very long tail because they're one of the largest, stores in terms of just pure variety of what they sell. But we can see here that 30%, almost 50% of their organic traffic is coming from the top two churns, Amazon and Amazon.uk. I'm sorry, Amazon UK, which means that it's a very, very strong brand name. Now we can look back and we can still see, okay, here's Kindle and Interstellar DVD, and we can see what are the top different products that people are searching for on the search engines and finding Amazon organically. And this is amazing data for anybody who does SEO. You'll be able to look and see, okay, which SEO keywords are most important for my competitors, and you can start to take this traffic, you can start to take the share of voice from them. So if I wanted to compare, for example, Amazon to eBay in the UK, I can now get an SEO, what we call share of voice, and we can see how much traffic is split between the two websites for important terms. I'll give it a second to load. And so let's look for something that's popular, maybe iPhone case. And now it's sorting through 145,000 keywords. Okay. So we can see that Amazon is doing very well with iPhone cases, whereas eBay has a better long tail, pretty green iPhone case, bare silicon iPhone case, iPhone case 5, and I bet if we did iPhone 6 case, we get a different share of traffic. And so we can see here that in the UK, most people go to Amazon to buy their iPhone 6 cases. But if they want something with wood or mulberry or a rugged iPhone case, they're probably looking at Amazon, at eBay here to see, if they can get a cheaper version. And you can always export this, each report that you see within SimilarWeb to Excel to further analyze and see more decimal points and see the actual traffic. If we go back to our document, finally we want to show you, okay, the share of voice per keyword, which is your competitor benchmark. So that's what I showed you. There's plenty of other things SimilarWeb can be used for. We offer a very deep platform and pricing that starts at close at $200. You can do research about referrals. You can research your competitors. I'll show you one more quick feature, which I didn't put on the agenda, but I think is very interesting, and this is keyword competitors. Keyword competitors is a great way to start doing keyword research, because what keyword competitors do is when we see We track all of the keywords that drive traffic to a site. And what we do is we compile all of the other sites that appeared on that page or are getting traffic for that keyword. So there's an overlap in terms of SEO traffic here or paid traffic here between these competitors. So TechRadar doesn't necessarily compete with Amazon, nor does the Telegraph, one of the major newspapers in London. But what it does do is it writes stories about iPhones, and it writes stories about Kindles, and it's stealing keyword traffic, organic keyword traffic, from Amazon. And so if I was the marketing manager at Amazon, I would use this data in order to either, one, use this as a place to target my media buyers, or number two, be able to start, looking at the different keywords that are driving traffic to those places and try and steal back some of that traffic share through SEO and PPC. I hope you've enjoyed my presentation. I've given you just a very small sample of what's available in SimilarWeb. I encourage everybody to try out SimilarWeb.com for free. We really want you to use it. We provide a lot of data for free, and it's there as a service for you. And with that, I will wrap up my presentation, and I can answer some questions. Okay. Number one, I have a question about accuracy. So